So the season 2 patch notes have just dropped and it's quite early in the morning for me, so let's get through this as quickly as we can. So when it comes to the Vanguard changes, we've got Captain America first, and his base health has been reduced from 750 to 650. They're trying to change his survivability, to be honest, and that is kind of what they're doing with Captain America. Reduced shield health from 400 to 350. Again, similarly what they're trying to do with his overall kind of resilience, as they call it here. Then we've got Doctor Strange. We've got his damage being reduced kind of across the board, with his Daggers of Denak being reduced from 18 damage to 16 damage per projectile. And as you know, he fires in kind of like a shotgun spread. Then the Maelstrom of Madness, which I knew was going to get nerfed anyway because it was pretty strong, got nerfed from 1.3 to 1.2. So this is the conversion ratio of the damage there. Then we've got a change to the Hulk as well. So Hulk's increased base movement speed from 600 to 650. So his movement speed when he's just walking around is a little bit faster now. Reduced cooldown time for Indestructible Guard, which is from 12 seconds to 10. And decreased minimum charge time for Incredible Leap to 0.7 seconds to 0.5 seconds. This is going to make him a lot better. There's actually some really good changes here for the Hulk actually, because he does need these buffs. And I think this is actually a good way to do it in general. So it's just basically improved all his movement stats and then reduced the cooldown for his shield bubble. Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, will experience a slight decrease in frequency of his ultimate. So they've basically increased his ultimate charge time, which is absolutely fine. So no major changes to Magneto there. Penny Parker will receive enhancements to her primary attack damage efficiency and boost to her survivability and combat capability. So base health was increased from 650 to 750. That's a big health jump, to be honest. And then the Cyberweb cluster now has a chance to critical hit. So that is basically to reduce the movement speed penalty whilst firing. Cyberweb cluster from 40% to 20%. So essentially she's able to critical hit now, so that's actually pretty cool. I think that's basically going to make her pretty strong, to be honest, in terms of damage. Obviously that's basically her gun that she fires, so we'll see how that actually works now. And basically I think that's a pretty solid change for Penny Parker, because she did need a slight buff just to make her a little bit better. The Thing should be getting a nerf here, hopefully. So when it comes to the Thing, he's got a decreased from Embattled Leap damage reduction effect from 30% to 25%. So basically not massive changes there. I still think he's going to be pretty strong. Then we've got Thor finally for all the Vanguards, and he's going to increase survivability. So increase base health from 525 to 600. This is really good for Thor. Increase movement speed from 600 to 650. Not a massive change for Thor. I think this is good, and hopefully that's him in a really good spot now, especially with the previous seasons. Duelist changes now, and we've got Black Widow first. And with Black Widows, they've added an effect where Black Widow can now directly shoot after releasing the second kick of her Edge Dancer. So basically there's going to be no delay in you firing the weapons. You can basically fire and kick at the same time, and that's basically allowing you to combo her abilities better. And the same goes for the Electroplasma as well, which is basically her ultimate. So you can release a shot straight after the ultimate ability, which makes it just a little bit more smoother, I think. When it comes to Hawkeye, we've got improvement to Clint's mobility whilst drawing his bow, and enhancement combat capabilities, and so reduce the slow effect whilst charging your bow from 30% to 20%. So that's basically meaning you're going to be able to move around a lot quicker. That's a good change. Movement changes are always good in my opinion, so that's a good change. Increase both instances of damage of hypersonic bow arrow to 55, so a buff to his hypersonic bow, so that's the one that spins. Decrease energy cost for Hunter's Sight, so basically they reduce the amount of time it takes to get his ultimate, and improve bow draw speeds from 1.35 to 1.5%. so basically speed it up so you can basically fire it a lot quicker and you get it more often. It's not one of the, it is actually quite a strong ultimate to be fair, but it's not one of the strongest ultimates in the game. Hela has basically got an increased cooldown for the Astral Flock, which is basically where she could teleport from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Increased spell field damage of Piercing Knight from 30 to 35. and decrease cooldown time for Soul Drainer for 12 seconds and 10 seconds. So she basically essentially got a buff here. Okay, that's strange. So basically you can't escape as quickly, and obviously when it comes to Hela, she doesn't really have great movement anyway, so you are most likely to die without the flock ability, obviously, but they just buffed her damage. Human Torch now has a reduced attack interval for his fire cluster, so basically how quick he could fire his shots off, from 0.6 to 0.5. Not a massive change there, to be fair. I don't think this is going to make him like super good or anything like that. The launch timing of primary attack projectile has been advanced. Not too sure what that means. Increase the cooldown for Flaming Meteor for 12 seconds to 15 seconds, but added a new effect after releasing Flaming Meteor. Immediately gain 75 bonus health, which would start a fall off 3 seconds later. So Flaming Meteor is basically where he's able to fire the bubbles down and he dashes into them. So that one is actually a decent change. So basically they listened to what everyone wanted, which was basically bonus health when they dashed down, otherwise it was kind of pointless. So essentially that is a good change. Now they buffed it because it's going to be a bit stronger now. But yeah, so that's good. It's a good change in my opinion. Is 75 bonus health enough? That's the only thing we need to know. But regardless, it is a good change in the right direction. Anyway, Iron Man, they have seen improvements in his mid-range combat effectiveness. Slightly reduced Iron Man's hitbox size. Cool, right? A new feature to gain 100 bonus health, activating Armor Overdrive and Gamma Overdrive. That will fall off 5 seconds later. That's actually quite cool, to be fair. I don't think this is going to make him broken in any way. I still think Iron Man still needs some more fine-tuning, but well, I think that's good changes. Then we've got Iron Fist. The changes here are reduced bonus max health gain from Harmony Recovery from 150 to 100, but slow the fall off rate that the health decays at, basically from 25 to 15 per second. Lowered fixed damage for Yatji Quen, which is the fast punches, from 10 to 9. But increase the percentage damage of the max enemy's health. So this is the exact same change they made last time, but again they're buffing it even more, from 1.7% to 2.1%. So essentially when you're hitting lower HP targets, you're going to be dealing less damage. When you hit higher HP targets, you're doing more damage, just based off of how the percentages work. And that's a bit of a weird change, so I don't really think he really needed that adjustment, to be honest, but regardless. Decrease the cooldown kick from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. That's good because it allows him to escape or engage, and he's going to be able to do that a bit more frequently now. Mr. Fantastic now, so increase the base health from 350 to 375, boost damage of Stretch Punch from 60 to 65, and 75 to 80 whilst inflated state. So essentially just a damage buff overall. Then flexible elongation enemies in range will now suffer a 35% slow effect and reduce flexible elongation cooldown time, so they're going to be getting slowed down when you're about to slam them together. Reduced elasticity gained from elastic strength passive ability from 30 to 20, whilst elasticity provided by Stretch Punch has been increased from 5 to 8 after entering the inflated state. The bonus health provided by will reduce from 450 to 400, so the max health you get when you're in the inflated state is going to be less, and how long it takes you might take a little bit longer now to get into the inflated state, because the main way to do it was the elastic strength and build that up, but again they've reduced it. A new feature where Mr. Fantastic uses Brainiac Bounce, which is his ultimate, immediately gains bonus health equal to that gained when entering the inflated state. So basically he's going to get 400 overshield when he uses his ultimate. I think that makes sense. I think basically most people would use it after Moon Knight now. They're essentially overhauling this character slightly, which is good to see. Increased center dart, or crescent dart, sorry, projectile speeds. So that's basically his primary, so it's going to hit a lot quicker, which is obviously good. Moonblade now gives you bonus health up to a max of 100, and then 3 seconds after the bonus health stops increasing, you'll then see it fall off at a rate of 20 per second. Speed of Moon Knight's hook pull is going to be speeded up, so that's basically how long it takes you to actually throw it out. which is good because that I feel like is a bit clunky, to be honest, considering how smooth a lot of the other characters' movement abilities are. Extended duration of Hand of Khonshu ultimate ability from 3.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds. Increase the number of talons generated in this period from 14 to 18, so that's just basically off of the fact that it's going to last an extra second. The fall off speed of talons has been slightly enhanced. A new damage fall off mechanic, spell field, has been added at the beginning at 1.5 meters, reaching a maximum of 70% at 5 meters. So they've changed again how the damage kind of scales outwards and reduces as you get further out from his ultimate, but it lasts a lot longer now, so you're going to get more damage from it. So hopefully it's in a good spot now, because his ultimate basically got absolutely slammed in the last update. So Scarlet Witch, remove chaos control percentage damage whilst fixing the damage from 60 to 80 per second. So that's our primary, so there's no percentage damage now, so that's kind of saved for characters like Iron Fist. I think this was kind of broken because that was the main way she did damage, and because she's auto lock, it does make it a bit annoying. Increase Corinthian burst projectile damage from 35 to 40, spell field damage from 35 to 40. That is her one where she kind of throws out the bubbles and hits people. Increase the cooldown of Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10 seconds and reduce the phase time from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. So this is the bit where she can go invisible and kind of fly around, and this is a really good change because I think it was a bit too broken because she could use it back to back as well. So they reworked her ultimate ability as well here to start 1.5 seconds instead of starting immediately, with a linear increase to a 35% slow over 3.5 seconds. I'm not really too sure what that actually even means, to be honest, but essentially the ultimate is going to take longer to start now, and she does get the overheal from the previous update. This is a bit strange, so we'll need to see what that actually means. I'm really not too sure. If you understand this part, then please leave it down in the comments, because I'm not too sure what they're trying to say here. I don't really play Scarlet Witch all that much at all, to be honest. Moving on into Star-Lord now, we're reducing the output efficiency of his ultimate charge rate. Yeah, so basically his charge of his ultimate was gaining far too quick. So reduce blaster barrage damage from 80 per second to 75. Introduce new damage fall off mechanics starting at 4 meters and maxing out at 80% at 8 meters. So they're reducing the damage of his ultimate essentially, so we'll see how that actually works. I think they need to change how often you get his ultimate, because building up ult charge of Star-Lord is super easy. Winter Soldier nerf here, hopefully. Increase the cooldown for Bionic Hook from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. I don't think that's the way they should have done it, but okay. Reduce the base damage of Kraken Impact from 100 to 80, but lower the threshold from 20% of maximum health to 15%. Okay, there's good changes. Also, they've nerfed the damage there. Finally, Wolverine now in terms of the Duelist. So increased Rage Gained from Savage Claw hits, which is basically his standard attack, from 7 to 10. That's quite good actually, whilst Rage Gain from Berserker Claw Strike has been decreased from 7 to 5, so that's when he goes Berserker Rage, and then he does his damage that way. From Feral Leap from 20 to 10, and from Vicious Rampage from 20 to 15. However, Rage Gained from taking damage has been increased from 3 to 5. So basically more rage from primary attack, more rage from taking damage, and less rage from basically everything else. I don't think Wolverine really needed that many changes, to be honest. I know he's kind of broken, but the reason why he's broken is because he's kind of the only character in the game that can do what he does, which is basically the whole tank buster thing. Don't really think he needed changes there, really, to be honest, unless there's like 2 really good tank busters in the entire game, which obviously Winter Soldier is one of them, but anyway. Reduce the time an enemy is knocked down after impact from the last stand, which is his ultimate, from 1 second to 0.5 seconds. So that's basically when they're obviously lying on the ground and they can't move. Getting into Strategists now, so we've got Adam Warlock, and his Soul Bond has had a nerf essentially. I didn't really think this needed one, but it did, by 10 seconds on the cooldown, so you're not going to get Soul Bond nearly as often. I think they had to buff his standard healing ability for doing this, to be honest, so they really need to change this character a little bit more, in my opinion, because Soul Bond is a strong ability to counter a lot of ultimates and things, but he did need a bit more healing output because his healing output is very, very minimal. His ultimate restores 30% of the max health bar instead of base 100 health. So essentially, if you get in a tank and you die, you're going to get 30% of your overall HP back, which is pretty strong. This is a good change. I don't think it's broken in any way. It just means you don't die as soon as you come back. But I think they do need to increase his healing capabilities for doing this change to Soul Bond. When it comes to Cloak and Dagger, essentially after you activate her ultimate, it lays the first like 3 healing zones down, and there's 4 zones in total obviously for her ultimate, and essentially they're going to be longer, so the amount of time that you have them is going to be a lot longer. So I think this is a good change. Basically the first 3 healing zones will not only be calculated separately until you finish your ultimate, and then the timer will finish when the final carpet finishes essentially. So basically you're going to get the ultimate longer. That's what this means. Then we've got Invisible Woman, decrease to the shield of Guardian Shield from 300 to 250. I don't think that is how you should have nerfed the Invisible Woman, to be honest, if we needed her nerfed at all. I know she's the best healer in the game, but I don't think she's like super broken, and I think if there was a nerf, it should have been to the ultimate. That's just me personally. I don't think her base kit is broken at all, actually. It definitely is the ultimate that's broken. Now, Regeneration Domain on Loki was going to get nerfed as well. So the cooldown has basically been increased from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. This one I don't think is a massive change. I think the one for Adam Warlock's a lot bigger, to be honest, because he's a lot weaker in terms of healing. Loki's actually pretty strong in terms of healing, so changes to Mantis here to emphasize strategy over speed, which, to be fair, people want speed with Mantis, I think, to be honest. People kind of want the movement mechanics back that she kind of had. Reduce base health from 750 to 250, and effects of Healing Flowered and Allied Inspiration can be stacked up to a minimum of 16 seconds. I'm not really too sure what that means. So Rocket changes here, and healing allies will see some adjustments to enhance survivability for the team. Decrease the healing area of repair mode spheres from 70 health to 50 health, so you're going to gain less HP, but add a new effect of one-time healing of 55 to allies hit. So if you get a direct hit, you get 55 HP, and if you don't, you get 50 HP. That's a nerf, to be honest. I know it sounds stupid, but that is a nerf. Projectile speed reduction increased from 1.5 to 7 milliseconds, so it's going to move a lot quicker around the map. That's kind of cool, I guess, but this is kind of like an overall nerf in my opinion, because just base 70 HP is pretty good, and he's not really one of the best healers in the game, so I don't really think they needed that. Extend cooldown for jetpack dashes, and the distance as well. So the cooldown has went from 6 seconds to 10, so you can't jetpack nearly as often, and from 10 meters to 8 meters. Again, did they need to nerf this hard? I don't think so. They could have went for 8 seconds and seen how that went. But regardless, I don't think Rocket needed these changes. These are kind of nerfs, to be honest. Reduced the ultimate damage boost. Rocket just got hit hard, man. From 40% to 25%, but a new effect. During the ability's duration, linked allies will receive an additional 100 bonus health per second, capping at 150. After breaking the link, this bonus will start to fall off. Additionally, the increase to the energy cost. Rocket just got slammed, man. I'm not even gonna lie, this is not even a good change whatsoever. Yep, so no one's using Rocket after this update. Then we've got team up abilities. So we've got a new team up, Arachne Order, which is a team up between Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, I believe. Team up Anchor gains bonus health of 100. Okay. Scarlet Witch unlocks a new magical mystic burst ability through her team up with Doctor Strange. We've got the one for Captain America Winter Soldier. As a team up Anchor, Captain America gains a maximum health of 100 and a boost of 5% in damage output, which is quite good because he needs it. Winter Soldier unlocks devastating stellar impact ability through his team up with Captain America. So that's, like I said, you can slam into Captain America's shield or into enemies, I believe. Mental protection, so that is Emma Frost, Psylocke, Magneto. As a team up Anchor, Emma Frost gains maximum HP of 100. So I think everyone that's going to be a team up Anchor gains 100 HP of some kind, or like a bonus health, which is quite cool. I think that's good because they've done that with, hopefully they've done this with all the team ups actually. Magneto receives a magnetic resonance ability through his team up with Emma Frost, so we need to see what that actually does. Psylocke receives a soul resurgence ability through her team up with Emma Frost. Adjusted or removed, as we already know, ammo overload, Winter Soldier got removed from this, and Killing Charisma, Namor got removed from this. Dimensional Shortcut, Psylocke got removed. Gamma Charge, Namor's now in there, but Doctor Strange loses the Gamma Maelstrom ability essentially, so we'll see that. Metallic Chaos, we've got this removed from the game, and then Voltaic Unions got removed from the game as well. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.